Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There is a notifications bell down at the corner that will let you know as to when I am going to go live. Um, so, I want to talk about a lesson that has come up a lot in my life. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle of mine. And that's learning how to be okay with not being okay. And throughout the journey with chronic illnesses, mental health, brain injury. There are periods of time sometimes where I can take on the world. And then there are times sometimes where all I can do is pace or try to keep myself above water. And one thing that I've been coming to grips with is the knowledge that in life and in my life and in the world, there are going to be times guaranteed where things are not okay and I am not going to be okay. And so I think the important thing that I'm learning is how to have tools in my toolbox to make sure that when I'm not okay, I'm being cared for. And those tools for me are painting. Um, Photography is one that if I can get out of the house, I do. But sometimes my conditions make it very isolating. Um, if I'm going to leave the house, it's usually for an important thing. But that is one thing that, the past few days I've been really struggling with learning new concepts. I've been struggling, physically, cognitively. It's been rough. And with a couple of hits like Pierce moving and Gypsy moving and, my daughter's not coming till later. It's just been like on and on. And one thing that I'm so appreciative of and grateful for is the help that I get through this beautiful network of people that, subscribe not only to me, but subscribe to what I do and subscribe to my being, I guess, in life. And, like today, I've been very scattered. So I haven't been tracking meetings. I haven't been tracking what I need. I had to drop out of the PACE classes because I just can't do it. It's getting to be wintertime, and wintertime is really difficult as far as like the cold makes me hurt. So I had received from a very special person an Uber gift card, and I was able to today. I'm going to be able to go and help Laura of Seattle Dogs Homeless Program take some pictures, get out there with her, knowing that I'm safe and I'm okay. And I think that's a really important thing is feeling like I can do things in a safe manner and learning that it's okay to not be okay. And the people that's hi Pasha. Um, when you learn how to be okay, not being okay, and like I said, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's realizing as well that many, many times, you know, we are doing things on the expectations that others have for us. And when we do things on the expectations that others have for us, hi Jennifer. I worked out today a little bit and I was able to kind of get up. I'm still really emotional, so today's going to be interesting. But what I was talking about with expectations of others, when we look towards what we think others expect of us, that's framing information that we don't have. Because number one, it's centering on that people are concentrated on our being. And I think that comes sometimes from, many, many different ways, work exploitation, things like that. Hi, Hadnot and Sons. Hello from Seattle. So I think that it's important as well to understand that we don't know another's mind. We just don't. We do not know what others expect or think. Many, many people are not clear about their expectations or what they think. I think that it's important to, of course, make obligations and things, but I think that when you're in a situation where things aren't working correctly, there has to be a grace for oneself when you're not able to meet those obligations. For me, it's really disheartening and it hurts my heart really bad to not be able to do some of these things. But I also know that I can, there are many ways I can do other stuff, and it's really important. Hi, Patty. Hi, Tatum. Hearts. Um, so I think it's really, really important to not judge ourselves on the expectations of others because others are free to have their expectations. Others are free to have their own thoughts. Others are free to do as they wish within the confines, of course, constructed by our society. Um, but I don't think that we know anybody enough to know what's necessarily on their mind when it comes into regards of ourselves. So I think there's a grace that we got to have with ourselves and a forgiveness for maybe sometimes not being able to meet those obligations. But one thing I have found to, hi, Kate, to be able to educate is educate those around me. Let them know, be honest. Let them know that I have these issues and there are going to be times that I'm going to phone it in. Literally. It says my so it's until I don't know what's going on. Hello, I'm back. It said it was reconnecting. Apparently my signal's not very strong. Um, but I just think that, be be kind to yourself. You know, I hear a lot, when we talk about mental illness, and I hear this a lot. This is many, many people. I have heard that the funny one is, "You're not mentally ill." It's like, because you don't see me screaming in a corner doesn't mean I'm not mentally ill. I just have I'm in treatment, so I know I have a toolkit available to be able only to set an image of being well. And when I am well, I am well. I feel great, but then there's times that that just isn't the case. And so, and not everybody's mentally ill. Sorry. Mental illness, many of us share behaviors, many of us share similarities, um, not being able to sleep, not remembering things. And I used to get that a lot, like in the beginning of my brain injury. Like, I forget things all the time too. Ha 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 ha. And my response was like, "Do you forget what a fork is?" Like, at that point in time in my life, I was looking at a plate and could not figure out what was in my hand or how to get the food from the plate to my mouth. It was gone. That's when it's affecting your life in deep, deep ways. And there are treatments for that. But the thing is I think that we need to be very careful in using terms like mental illness to describe things that we don't agree with or don't like. There are many, many different kinds, and there are treatments for that. There's medication, and that's another thing too. You know, can you handle me at my unmedicated? Because I can't. I can't literally handle myself on my unmedicated. So I think that there needs to be this understanding, and what I found is that by educating the people around me to it and coming right out and telling, like supervisors or people in, the city or whatever, just say, "I'm rapid cycling bipolar. The emotions on my face are not indicative of the situation." If I am bawling over something that seems minor, understand it's still minor. I'm just having an issue at this juncture, and I need people to understand and respond with, "Okay, don't think you need to solve it. It's not going to get solved. It's an issue. Please understand." you know Um, oh, Karen, hi. We all know, yeah, I think, and that's why I want to do this and talk about it, is because I do believe that we all feel this from time to time. Like when you're just not okay and you're like, what am I going to do? And then, you start doing things to make yourself feel, well, at least for myself, I do things to start making myself feel better and then feel guilty over that. Like having knowledge that isolation is not real healthy, but feeling like it makes me feel safe and better. So I don't know how to handle that. That's an issue for me. But knowing that there are going to be times that it's not okay. Like this isn't just going to be the last time that things are not okay. And the important thing is to be okay with it. To just be in that knowledge that sometimes it's not going to be okay and we just have to be okay with that. But what can help are those tools. And I think that once we let go and allow people to have their thoughts, their own minds, their own expectations, and just focus on, what's important, what's fulfilling. For me, it's working to solve some of the crises that we're in right now. So that makes me feel better, whether that be outreach or whatever. I'm going to address some comments. Jennifer, I could if you can handle hanging out with them. Oh my God, right? Like, and that's another thing that's really hard. Oh, thank you. That's another thing that's really hard too. Gypsy's going and she has to move because the rent raised and her voucher's not going to cover it. And like, that's the person that handles me off my meds. That's the person that when I'm off for a day and can't go get them is the one to go get them and checks on me and is there. And it's going to be really difficult. So, gosh, it's kind of going through it. Be kind. Oh, hi, Justina. Thank you. That's okay to be late. I pretty much said everything I needed to say. Um, Karen, I can be the best of hermits when I want to be. That's the thing is, I have activities that I do that soothe my soul. Um, I'll I'll give you a little peek at what I'm doing right now. Um, that's that's one of the works I'm doing right now and have been focusing my attention on and my heart on. Um, I'll say, hi. Oh, from England. Hello. Um, Kate, Gypsy, how much her rent? All of our rent was raised $300, which is about a 20% increase. I am very blessed that my voucher program, Shelter Plus Care, covered mine, but she's under a different one, which is called, I think, Home at Last. And they said it wasn't market rate, it was above market rate. And so she has a cap on hers as to what they'll pay for, and it went over the cap. Sorry, don't mean to get so emotional about that. It's just like there are this wonderful network of people that keep me going, that keep me being able to be being, even my company. And one of those people is Gypsy on a very personal level. Somebody I can always call no matter how crazy it is for me. So so it breaks my heart because like she was in my encampment too. Like and then Pierce, and he's with a new girl right now, and I'm really thankful for that. And he's moving, and so it just is kind of for me a little heartbreaking right now. Um, but what I was saying is, Gypsy doesn't have any idea how important she is. I try to tell her, of course, but I think sometimes, it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm gonna center here for a second. Hold up. Breathing. But that's the thing is it gets this amazing network of people and I'm so grateful and I'm thankful for the people that come into my path, whether they're meant to stay or not, or, whatever. So, um, Jennifer, I'll send you my, okay. Thank you. I love the new painting. I need the original. Actually, Jennifer and everybody, Justina, everybody, uh, that is, I started a thing. I will actually type it in. It's on Facebook. It's Amanda J Artistry. Ta-dow. Oh, thank you. Can we supplement her rent somehow? No. Um, it will continue to be an issue. This is definitely a problem within our system, and it just bothers me on so many levels that this is allowed to go on. Like, we know that if you affordable means 30% of your income. And if you're going to raise rent 20%, what are you doing? Like, literally, what are you doing other than unhousing people? Like, you are literally forcing people to move because they're already paying, what is it, 60, 70%? It's ridiculous. And I know myself how stabilizing housing is, how it helps to be able to have this cozy space, this nest of safety. And when it's taken away from somebody who I know has been through it, like really through it, it it hurts. It hurts and it makes everything feel not so secure. And it makes everything feel really not safe. So these past few days it's been a struggle. Um, Excellent speech at the public hall. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I was there speaking on behalf of not only Seattle Harm Reduction Coalition, but Washington Recovery Alliance and the Public Defenders Association. And I was thankful to be able to have my voice heard, and was very thankful that in the budget we are expanding those programs. So, don't think that your voice is not heard. I will tell you right now that they made eye contact, they listened, they put down their phones, and they were attentive. So I find that I love public speaking. It's a thing. Like, I love what I do. And that's, and I do it when I'm okay, and I do it when I'm not okay through, and that's why I'm saying phone it in, is teleconferencing. Wonderful tool for those of us that are like this. Um, Text, email, there's so many ways to connect when you just can't be okay. So that's, tool set, put it in the little, what is that? Tool bag. don't- I just lost a word. So I'm gonna say toolkit because I was thinking the little. Never mind. I don't know who Gypsy is. I was sorry you were talking about it, but didn't understand. Gypsy, Gypsy has been with me, as a campmate, as a friend, as family since the day I got out. The night I was out on the streets in Seattle, and her and Derek had, put up my first tent. Um, they've replaced my doors with heavy blankets. They made sure and she ended up getting housed, of course, in another area, and then I got housed here, and she moved over here, so we could kind of be closer together because we're really like emotional support for one another, and even just so much so that like our other campmate, Derek, stays with her. So, but that's the thing. Speak up. be cognizant of these issues, understand that these things are so multifaceted, and we have just a country in crisis right now, especially when it comes to housing, natural disasters. There's a list. So we just we're hanging on. I'm helping her look for another place. Like, she took my advice the day we got swept from East Lake. And I was like, well, if we have to leave, we're moving on up. And so we moved up because my moving on up is like a quiet place with birds and beauty and, trees. And I was like, we're moving on up. So we went and like found a place in the jungle and had our little campment. And she kind of took that with this and is like, well, if I got to do it, I'm going to move on up. I'm going to get a yard. I was like, okay, let's take a look. So that's, there are times it's not going to be okay. And that just has to be okay. Um, Thank you. I know, Jennifer, you did. And honestly, that means a lot. Like, this is a new venue. Well, it's not a new venue. I've been doing vlogging for forever, but that's very different than public speaking. Um, and it's something that I've gotten into that I really enjoy. And I think that I can present points that maybe were not considered before. And I'm also getting into starting and helping other nonprofits burgeon and grow. I want to start a program in training rural areas in how to implement harm reduction. I think that's really important. Some of these rural areas are some of our most hardest hit, especially when it comes to heroin and meth. So I think it's important to get out there and let them know about, of course, fentanyl, things like that. It's a national crisis. So it's a global. Well, no, really. I mean, the opioid is a national crisis, really. But we need to get on that and really start training our people. So there's a lot of things I have my fingers in. Like today, I'm going to make sure to get out to and thank you for the Uber because, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to make it to the Seattle Dogs event at the food bank. So that's really important for me to support the organizations that just really I see make these huge differences. And if we can support them and help them, that's phenomenal. Um, let's see. Thank you, Canine too. She's amazing. Rowan is just such a best dog. Like, I absolutely adore her. Um, Kate, be kind gypsy is okay. Karen, Amanda, there's so many homeless people. Greed, big time greed. Yeah. Okay, Karen, I'm gonna wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I think that when we start profiting off of life-saving materials, it's called price gouging. And I don't think it's okay no matter who you are. And I think when we see that people are literally sleeping on the streets, dying on the streets, and this continues to be a thing, we need to rethink our values. We need to rethink our morality if that's a thing. And it's not okay. So I agree with you. It is a lot of this idea of profiting off of life-saving necessities. And I think that how we change that is by understanding it, number one, understanding where people are coming from on the profit scope, um, and understanding, the what it does to people and how it begins, how it, culminates. And there's so much research that we can access that has been done and is being done in this. So it's really it's phenomenal. Um, Busy Bee Company. I kept my tenants' rents constant for 7 years for all-inclusive electric. Sometimes that's the rate for raising rent, but agreed sometimes. Well, I agree, Busy Bee, but the thing is at some juncture, people should decide to profit. Like, if there is a profit to be made, it really shouldn't be on housing. There, are so many other avenues that are not, housing is life-saving, and lack of that, the thing is as somebody who views that, if you're like, I was a real estate agent for a while, and if you're viewing it as, like, I know a lot of people that supplement their income by rents, by having rentals, and the issue is it turns this into a an income where somebody can actually lose their life if something happens and they can't afford it. And so I'm looking to more like in Europe, some of the council housing solutions that they have. I think that we if this is happening under our current value system, this is happening under our current morality system, so we have to change something, and we have to change something in the system, because the system is the framework that holds us all together. Society is built on this framework of shared ideas. So, and if that's failing, we need to find out where, and we need to fix that. Bam, like spiders, just like the little orb weavers. That's kind of how I describe my job, is an orb weaver. Like, I make the connections. um, let's see. Have you heard about Lebanon's crazy manifestation? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Um, they've been stealing our money for years now. Human rights people live on the streets. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Well, here's the thing. We need politicians and leaders that say, I understand the human rights documents. I understand why we need a set viewpoint on what human rights are, and we need to provide that. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, and I said that in my speech, nothing, we have to allow people to thrive. Can you imagine? I just want you to imagine if you did not have to think about constant survival on a regular basis, what you would be able to do, the passion you would be able to throw into projects that are sustaining, are beautiful. These people somehow think that if you're stable, somehow you're going to get lazy. And I will tell you from my experience, that is not it. It allows a safe spot to jump off from, to fly if necessary. Um, Busy Bee, has invisible people ever interviewed her? It can help. Gypsy has no interest in being interviewed. None. Carol, hi Amanda. Okay. Now in Lebanon, people are closing the streets, and now I can't go to university to work or whatever. It's a revolution to make their politicians go away. And I am in Lebanon. I will say that this is worldwide. It's all countries. Ours not so has not been so much, um, but yes, worldwide there are protests in the streets because our infrastructure globally is breaking down, and these very real threats to humanity are not being addressed. So Omega Wabu, hi, loved you as well. Busy Bee, I was trying to offset the cost, made money from the tax reduction, losing money every year. Yeah, exactly. Busy Bee, there's a lot of places in the United States as well, like Wisconsin, where they're not allowed to cut off electric in winter as well. And I will have to say, I was a single parent, and sometimes that's what got me through the winter, honestly, is the fact that they couldn't cut us off. There's it's a vicious cycle, and that's why I think that there just needs to be some changes for sure. And there's a big difference between personal people who are we're renting like you in these corporations, and we're under a corporate allied residential, and they own many buildings. This is not, they don't they don't know us, they don't care, they don't, it's all about money. um they always say that, I feel nothing, that's why people kept, yeah, exactly, because promise politicians promise change but never seem to deliver. Well, and here's the problem with that though too, is they promise change, but the change is dependent on what we're willing to do. They can't just make change. It has to come from somewhere. And that's us. That's us. They will do what's popular or what their majority thinks or whatever, and they will ride that. And so I think that it comes down to us making the change, saying, we need you to say human rights. We need environmental rights. We need this now. And if you're not going to do it, we'll put somebody in who will. And I think that's the thing is they can promise change all day long, but we have to fact check them. We need to be the ones that are doing our due diligence and making sure that those are the kind of people that, I think you can tell if somebody's not going to do what they're going, like the history should tell you, you know. So anyway, I am like 30 minutes in and I so appreciate you all. Um, I do want to say though that each one of us matters in this. Each one of us matters in this. I put a call out for uh we're in desperate need every week of fentanyl testing strips for harm reduction. And I put a call out and it always seems like we end up getting what we need to do the work that we do. And that's how it is in life, it seems. And so I just want to thank all of you that help me out and make it possible to make these huge changes, because that's what it is in system work and education and research and all these different avenues. Is it's this collaboration of all these amazing people, and it's so exciting. So now that I've gone through all the emotions, the spectrum of emotion, I'm going to get off here. In the descriptions, if you want to support or donate, there's a PayPal link. There is a wish list for being supplies. Those are like harm reduction supplies, warm stuff, things that, pretty much outreach. Those things are keeping people alive till tomorrow. That's, right now, that's what we got. Until we can get them in and find a way to get enough case managers and system wide enough people to handle the crisis as it is right now, because we don't. So there's that. And there is a personal wish list on there as well, but it doesn't have a whole lot of stuff. I'm blessed. I have everything that I need. So I'm going to address some comments and then I am going to get off of here, and I appreciate every single one of you. When does Gypsy have to be out? By the end of the year. So we are her cat. She does not want to live outside of Seattle. It's really hard to get to resources outside, and this is what she knows, and she needs to be close to her medical teams and stuff. So she does need to be inside, the outskirts at least of Seattle. The voucher is for King County, but that's a restriction. And so anyway, that's the deal. Busy Bee. I recall a guy making tiny homes for homeless, but they were small sheds. Yes, but pretty colors. And the council were attacked by homeowners who forced them to remove them all. It's horrible. There's a lot of factors, though. Okay, like we're building little Hoovervilles. We are building shanty towns. House people. It's not okay to do a tent, to a shed, to a no. Do you know the chaos that ensues in your head from being moved and moved and moved and losing everything? And it's just house people. I looked up a bill to exempt tiny homes in transitional housing from environmental contaminants. Like, they're fighting so that these places can be on contaminated soil. And I it's already hard enough to be out there. It's killing people. People are dying just from regular exposure. Like it's a real thing. And then we've got, PCBs and all these contaminants into, like, when we sweep people, we're sweeping people into another environmentally contaminated zone. I think that tiny homes, they serve their place. I think, but I worry deeply, deeply about the percentage of people that are going into permanent housing from that. To me, it seems the percentages are rather low for being transitional housing, because that's what it is. It's tiny homes are considered transitional housing. In other words, housing to where you go, bye Busy Bee, housing to where you go from, transitional, you transition into that. Um, But the issue that I have is if we have a bill that's going through and it's us exempting us from building these places on contaminated land, we're looking at long-term costs medically of millions of dollars. And it would be cheaper to house them and let them thrive. And honestly, I think that most people after getting treated are able to overcome. And I hear all the time from like so many of these companies and stuff, and these organizations are like, we have people with lived experience doing this. And what that tells me is that once people are allowed to thrive, they go back and they do more for their community, and they come up and they help others up. So I think that it's really good policy to just put people in housing. Transitional housing can be, but I still, I just, I know that many people are thankful for at least having that. But I want us to get past the point of saying at least. I think that we need to get people into homes, because once they're into homes, they cease to be homeless, and they're just community members that are doing their best. And so I think that housing first, housing choice, um, I think that all those things are very, very important. And I wasn't busy bee. I just hope you know, I wasn't trying to be like rude or anything like that. I really like, I know why they paint them great colors and things like that. And it's really public perception. And it really scared me when I looked up and found that we're offering exemptions to live on contaminated land for people rather than put them in housing. And that's, I find really frightening as a society to be okay with that. um, so anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I appreciate it. I do have to get going though, because I want to go and meet up with Laura and do that. So thank you guys. It's everybody. You make it possible for our communities to come together and everybody to come together and just be better human beings. So thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.